रंजना जय यशोदनंदना जय ब्रजजन रंजना जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा कृष्ण चंद्र श्री राधे जय राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा कृष्ण चंद्र श्री राधे जय गौर निताय जय गौर निताय पतित पावन गौर निताय जय गौर निताय जय गौर निताय पतित पावन गौर निताय जय यशोदा दामोदर यशोदा दामोदर यशोदा दामोदर श्री राधे जय यशोदा दामोदर यशोदा दामोदर यशोदा दामोदर श्री राधे जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जगद्गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जगद्गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपदा। Hare Krishna. We start with prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutat Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamsha Namahom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतिसे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता श्री राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्रा सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, on this auspicious eve of Kartik Maas, we are very, very fortunate that we are going to discuss from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I am sharing my screen. So today we are going to study from third canto, 29th chapter, and the text today which is given to me is 25. Okay. So first of all, we will recite the words. अर्चदावा अर्चयेत्तावत् ईश्वरं मां स्वकर्म कृत् यावन्न वेद स्वहृदि सर्वभूतेषु अवस्थितम्। अर्चदावा अर्चयेत्तावत् ईश्वरं मां स्वकर्म कृत् यावन्न वेद स्वहृदि सर्वभूतेषु अवस्थितम्। अर्चदावा अर्चयेत्तावत् ईश्वरं मां स्वकर्म कृत् यावन्न वेद स्वहृदि सर्वभूतेषु अवस्थितम्। So now we will see the word to word meaning. Archa Adav, beginning with worship of the deity. Archayet, one should worship. Tavat, so long. Ishwaram, the supreme personality of Godhead. Mam, me. Swa, his own. Karma, prescribed duties. Krit, performing. Yavat, as long as. Na, not. Veda, he realizes. Swahriti, in his own heart. Sarva Bhuteshu, in all living entities. Avastitam, situated. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhijit Gupta Swami Prabhu ki jai. Translation: performing his prescribed duties, one should worship the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead until one realizes my presence in his own heart and in the hearts of other living entities as well. Worship of the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is prescribed herewith, even for persons who are simply discharging their prescribed duties. There are prescribed duties for the different social classes of men: the Brahmanas, the Vaishyas, the Kshatriyas, and the Shudras, and for the different ashrams, namely Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. One should worship the deity of the Lord until one appreciates the presence of the Lord in every living entity. In other words, one should not be satisfied simply by discharging his duties properly. He must realize his relationship and the relationship of all other living entities. Of all other living entities with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If he does not understand this, then even though he discharges his prescribed duties properly, it is to be understood that he is simply laboring without profit. The word Swakarmakrit in this verse is very significant. Swakarmakrit is one who engages in discharging his prescribed duties. It is not that one who has become a devotee of the Lord or who engages in devotional service should give up his prescribed duties. No one should be lazy under the plea of devotional service. One has to execute devotional service according to his prescribed duties. Swakarmakrit means that one should discharge the duties prescribed for him without neglect. Hare Krishna. So, in today's words, it's very wonderful, and we see that the same principle of Bhagavad Gita is being spoken in these words in a much more advanced manner. So, as Srila Prabhupada used to say that Srimad Bhagavatam is the postgraduate study, while Srimad Bhagavad Gita is the graduate study of the spiritual science. So we see that even in Bhagavad Gita, yes, one of the in the initial chapters, the whole conversation between Krishna and Arjuna it revolves around whether I should do my duty or whether I should just renounce my duty and just engage into the devotional service of the Lord. And we see that it's a very complicated subject matter for Arjuna to understand. Yes, though it looks very simple, and that's why Arjuna again and again, yes, he brings back the question that Krishna maybe. So when Krishna speaks the Jnana Yoga, yes, the Jnana part, so then Arjuna is very much excited. Yeah, this Jnana is the ultimate thing, and we should go after searching for this ultimate absolute truth. And this work is very inferior. I should maybe leave it. He again asks question, and Arjuna is also telling Krishna that Krishna, your words are looking two-sided. Sometimes sometimes it seems you are asking me that just engage into this fighting, and sometimes you are speaking big jnana, you are speaking about sthita pragya and everything, and it seems to me that it's better just to renounce this world. Anyway, this work of this world is temporary, and the goal is to just reach to the absolute truth. So why I should do it? And that's why it is said that the scriptures has to be understood from a bona fide guru. Yes, if we simply read the scriptures, then we may get lost. Yes, because sometimes scriptures, they may speak one thing at one place, and in other place we may find an apparently contradictory truth there in the scripture. Yes, and so to synchronize them, to harmonize the entire Vedic philosophy and to apply it in life, it really requires the guidance of the Guru and the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the association of devotees, without which a person will be really confused. And here, Srila Prabhupada, in the first part of the purport, he says that if you simply do your duty, it has no value. Yes, it has absolutely no value. You are simply wasting your time. But in the second part of the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying one should not leave his duty. Yes, so that's very wonderful. So that's the beauty of the Vedas. Vedas are our scriptures are very balanced. They are very, and that's why in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto, in the second chapter itself, there's a beautiful verse which Srila Prabhupada is even quoting some of the lines here in the purport that Vishwakshena katha soya na utpade yadi rating shram eva hi kevalam. That if one doesn't develop the ruchi for Vasudev katha, yes, for the katha of that Lord who performs beautiful activities, yes, all his varnashram dharma has no value. Yes, yes, and Srila Prabhupada in one of the purpose of Bhagavad Gita says that varnashram dharma is a stepping stone to the spiritual life. So that's why one should make it very clear that the goal is ultimately the katha of Vasudeva. The ultimate goal is that, and varnashram, it acts as a very stable platform on which one can practice that ultimate ruchi for the katha of Vasudeva. Yes, because our senses are so much infused with enjoying mentality. We have been roaming in this world in different species, in different planets, satisfying our different desires for millions of lives. Yes, And that's why Krishna is very merciful. When Krishna gives us the entire plan of spiritual life, when Krishna presents to the living entity the scriptures, he presents it in such a wholesome manner. Yes, and that's why Krishna is known as Om Purnam Ada Purnam Idam, and Purnam Purnasya Gacchati, Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Yes, that Krishna, whatever comes out of Krishna is Purnam. You cannot find any mistake into that, because Krishna's plan is foolproof. It's completely beneficial for the living entities. And that's why Krishna says that, yes, the goal is the spiritual life. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. That's the goal. Yes? But in order, while you are walking on that goal, you need a perfect platform. You cannot just run in the air. Yes? If you want to run very fast, if you want to drive your car very fast, yeah, that's very good. You need a very nice car. You need a very nice driving skill. But you need a stable road. You need a stable ground on which you can run fast. Yes, and that's the Varnashram Dharma. And that's why Krishna in Bhagavad Gita has stressed on engaging our senses, doing our prescribed duties. Because otherwise, if we leave that platform, then we will be just like the suspended air. And that's why many yogis who give up everything, who go to the Himalayas to practice yoga, but even after so many thousands of years of tapasya, their senses again bite them. Because senses are like snakes. If the snake charmer is not very careful to take care of the snakes, yes, if the snake charmer is not taking protective measure, at any time those snakes can just come out and just bite any person. Yes, and that's why all our senses are compared to snakes, which have the poison of sense enjoyment. Yes, at any time the senses can bite us, and that's why our acharyas, they recommend that, yes, doing devotional service is the ultimate goal of life. There is no other goal of life in this material world. This material world is made for achieving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but it has to be done while on the stable ground of performing our own prescribed duty. Because performing our prescribed duty takes care of our senses, yes, takes care of our enjoying mentality. And then while the senses are formed on the ground of prescribed duty, and then those senses can be used in Krishna service in a very wholesome manner. And that's why in this regard, I remember a beautiful example given by His Holiness Radha Govind Swami Maharaj. He says that, suppose a river is flowing very fast river is flowing in horizontal direction, and you want to cross the river in the vertical direction. Yes, so if you want to just cross like this, this is the goal of life. It will be very difficult if you don't have a very stable boat, if you don't have a very advanced boat system. If you want to just cross like that, you may be just thrown away by the flow of the river. Yes, and that flow of the river is compared to the extreme desire of living entity to lord over the material nature, to enjoy the material nature. Yes, and that's why, yes, one of the paths which is recommended by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which Radha Govind Maharaj explained, is that you take your boat, you try to cross it, but at the same time you keep doing your prescribed duty. So you may flow little bit, yes, but at the same time you are also moving towards your ultimate goal. Yes, so that's a beautiful example which came to my mind. Yes? And that's why even Brahmaji in his prayer in 10th canto, he says, "Sthane stitha dharman mano ved." Yes, that while you situated sthane stitha, you be situated in your own whatever ashram, whatever varna you are, you be situated and just focus your attention on hearing the pastimes of the Lord. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whomever he met, he didn't focus too much on living your duties, or taking to sannyas, or just renouncing this world. Wherever he went, he just told them, yes, whatever you are doing, you do it, but just keep your compass, keep your focus, just like the North Pole, on the Supreme Personality of God. Just hear about Krishna. And that's the wholesome plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, yes, which He has given to the living entity. And Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, yes, work can be renounced, but only he gives a qualification. We need to have adhikar. Yes? It's not something cheap. Spiritual life is not cheap. Yes, we can renounce the work provided somebody's mind, somebody's consciousness, intelligence is completely surcharged with Krishna consciousness, with his focus on Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, at that time, one can just leave the work and completely engage, because his senses are just like the snakes whose poison teeth are removed. Now that snake is not inefficient, so the senses become materially dull but spiritually enlightened. At that time, one has no need of doing the prescribed duty. So, and now going to the another part of the verse or the purport is the focus on the deity worship. Yes. So here Srila Prabhupada in the first line of the purport, he says that how important is the principle of deity worship. Yes. And that's why we see in the Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter, which is the very much core of the Bhagavad Gita. Our acharyas explain that the middle these chapters, like 9th and 10th chapter, they are the very heart of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna speaks his heart. It's the love letter of Krishna to the living entities, where he describes how a living entity can come close to him. And one of the very celebrated words is Man mana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Yes. And so in this, Krishna has recommended some of the processes through which a living entity can come to him. And one of the things which he recommends is Madhyaji and Mam Namaskuru. So Yaji, Srila Prabhupada translates as worship, worshipping Krishna, yes? And paying our obeisances to Krishna. Yes? And that's very much is the part of the deity worship. And that's why even Rupa Goswami, while he gives us the 64 items of devotional service, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says that out of the 64 items of devotional service, yes, the 5 items are most potent. And that's why I'm reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yes. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan Bhagavata Shravana Mathura Vasha Sri Murti Shraddhaya Sevana. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan Bhagavata Shravana Mathura Vasa Sri Murti Shraddhaya Sevana. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying there are 5 items. What are the 5 items he is recommending? The Sadhu Sangha, association of devotees. Second, the Nama Kirtan, the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. Third, the Bhagavata Sravana, the hearing the pastimes and the message of the Lord. Mathura Vasa, that is living and residing the holy place. And then in the end, the 5th item which our Rupa Goswami is recommending is Sri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevana. With great faith, considering Sri Murti, the Arch Vigraha, non-different from Krishna, yes, serving those deities. And right in the next verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Sakala sadhana sreshta ye pancha anga Krishna prema janamaye ye panchera alpa sanga. Sakala sadhana sreshta ye pancha anga Krishna prema janamaya ye panchera alpa sanga. He says that Sakala sadhana, among all the process of sadhana, among all the different varieties of ways in which one can render devotional service, Shrestha, among them the Shrestha is these 5 angas. And Krishna Prema Janmaya, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabuda hai, Savanadi Suddha Chitta Korila Hota hai. That Krishna Prema is right within the heart. And as soon as one comes in contact of these 5 items, immediately it sprouts. Just like if we take the gram, that chana we say in Hindi. So if we put in the right water, in a proper moisturous environment, immediately in the morning, we see that just in one night, the sprouts comes out of it. So that sprout is already within that gram. And when it comes in a right atmosphere, immediately it sprouts out. So similarly, as soon as the living entity's heart, which is currently dry and covered with ignorance, comes in contact with any of these five items, immediately Krishna Prema Janmaya. And then in the last word, it's A Pachera Alpa Sangha. Alpa means, Alp in Bengali means little. You know, Alpa Sangha, just a little association with any one of these five items is so potent that immediately Krishna Prem, just sprouts out, just sprinkle out of the heart. And one of these items is the deity worship. And that's why we see that in our sampradaya, even Srila Prabhupada, while he established this one society, while he gave us the whole package of devotional service, he has included very deeply the principle of deity worship in our sadhana. So deity worship is the most integral part of our entire sadhana process, which Srila Prabhupada has recommended, which our entire sampradaya has recommended. And that's why we see that in our sampradaya, to our acharya, our Goswamis, like Sri Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, they were chanting 64 rounds. Yes, they were whole day engaged in reading scriptures. Yes, they were paying 1 lakh obeisances. Yes, every day. Yes, they were so much busy into exploring the different pastimes, the different holy places which are hidden in the Praja. But even after so much of hectic schedule, even after so many other forms of devotional service, each one of them had their own deities. Yes, and that's why there's a beautiful song that Srila Rupa Goswami Pranadhana He Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Shri Radhe. And then they say Srila Sanatana Pranadhana He Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Shri Radhe Srila Raghunathera Pranadhana He. So like this the song goes on, and it counts that each acharya had their own beloved deity. Yes. So each acharya made a particular deity as their life and soul, as the apple of their eye. Yes. So each of the acharya they were carrying, and that's why we find a beautiful pastimes of Srila Sanatan Goswami, that how Sanatan Goswami was so busy into writing scriptures like Hari Bhakti Vilas, Priyat Bhagavata Marriage, and so many literature he gave. And he had a beautiful Radha Madan Mohan deity. And because he was so busy, he just used to take that some atta, some round of atta, and just put into fire. And when it used to get baked, he just used to put at the bhoga. And the deity, he just wanted to reciprocate so much of love with Sanatan Goswami that the deity said that, "Oh Sanatan, please give me some salt also within this atta. And you are not able to put me chappan bhog or very delicious items, but at least you can add salt into it." And the Sanatana Goswami reply was that my Guru and my beloved Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given me so much of service to write the scriptures. If you want to eat the salt, then arrange it yourself. And we see that how Madan Mohan he arranges that how one of the merchant was saved by the mercy of Srila Sanatana Goswami. He Radha Madan Mohan came to him and said that you please donate some salt. Yeah. So that's a many. So we see that many beautiful pastimes of Srila Sanatana Goswami, Rup Goswami, and all the other Goswamis with the deities. They had their own personal deities. And it is said that some of the Goswamis they just used to wear the deity in their neck, because they had chanting bead in one hand, they had kamandalu in other hand. So some of them used to just wear the deity in their own heart. So they should keep the deity close to their heart. So that was the position of the deity worship in each of our acharyas' life. We see the example of Srila Gopal Bhatt Goswami. So Gopal Bhatt Goswami, he had Shila, the Shaligram Shila, and he used to worship them. But how once one merchant came in the branch, and he was just selling all the products, that please take this beautiful clothes of the deity, beautiful ornaments of the deities, beautiful crown of the deities. And he was selling small pieces. And then when Gopal Bhatt Goswami saw that merchant, and that merchant wanted to give him also some of the product, Gopal Bhatt Goswami was saying, but I have this Shaligram Shila. I cannot dress Shaligram Shila with these clothes. And immediately Gopal Bhatt Goswami, he develops an intense desire to worship the deity. He was just thinking that maybe if I also have a beautiful deity, and he used to see the clothes, and he used to imagine, maybe I will put this clothes on the deity, I will put this crown on the deity, I will put this beautiful flute on the deity, I will put this beautiful shoes of the deity. So, but I don't have a deity. And such a strong desire came in the heart of Srila Gopal Bhatt Goswami. And on the day of Narsim Chaturdasi, Gopal Bhatt Goswami, while sitting in the Narsim temple, he was meditating that, oh, the Lord can come out of pillars. So the pillar is a stone, and from that the Lord can immediately sprout out. Yes. So why can't my Shaligram Shila, the Lord can come out? If Lord can, and that intense desire, just the next day of Narsim Chaturdasi, we see that a beautiful Radha Raman deity came out. And that's a Swayam Prakat deity of Srila Gopal Bhatt Goswami. And we see the very beautiful example of Srila Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri was in Ajgar Vritti. He didn't had a particular place. He didn't know what is day and night. Whole day chanting Hare Krishna, whole day immersed into the holy names of the Lord, the holy pastimes of the Lord. And when Lord wanted to reciprocate love with our Madhavendra Puri, yes, so what he did, he said that there's a deity which for thousands of years has been buried at a place. Please take me out. Please serve me. So we see that when a devotee wants to reciprocate love with the Lord, or even if the Lord wants the devotee's love, yes. So one of the medium in our sampradaya, in the entire history of spiritual science, is that the Lord comes in the beautiful deity, and that's how. So deities are the very wonderful medium through which a devotee is able to render service, and through even the Lord of the universe, when he wants the love of his devotees, he just and that's why Madhavendra Puri didn't have any deity, but Krishna, he wanted the love of Madhavendra Puri, and that's why he pushed Madhavendra Puri. That no, that take me out of that. Please serve me. I was burning with heat for so much long time. Do we think that Krishna can burn with heat? He is the source of all sun. So much of Brahma Jyoti comes out of Krishna's body. How can a little bit heat of this world affect Krishna's body? But Krishna was burning for love of Madhavendra Puri while sitting in those bushes. And that's why he said that, please serve me. So our sampradaya is the proof that how deity worship has been the most integral part of our entire sampradaya. And even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he took sannyas, and his wonderful wife Vishnu Priya, she was crying tears. She was feeling intense separation from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes, and then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gifted her a deity, and he said that whenever you remember me, I will come in form of this deity. I will reciprocate to you. I will reciprocate with your love through this deities. So we see that deities have always been a very integral part. So many examples. The whole class will pass out just quoting different examples of our own sampradaya. What to say of other sampradaya? Yes. So and that's why we say that there are two paths. Our Acharya says that there are two paths. One is Bhagavad Dharma, and another is the Archa Vigraha Seva. And that's why our Acharya says that these two paths are like two rail lines, on which the train runs. So we need both. We need Shravan and Kirtan, but at the same time we need Pancharatrika Vidhi, that is Shri Arch Vigraha Puja. So our Acharya says that the Bhagavad Dharma, it takes care of always remember Krishna, and the other part, Sri Pancharatrika Vidhi, it takes care of never forget Krishna. Because Pancharatrika Vidhi, it just brings a rules and regulation, it brings a discipline, it brings punctuality in the life of the sadhaka. While we want to serve the deities, we need to wear clean clothes, we need to get up at a particular time, we need to keep our consciousness proper, we need to recite various mantras, we need to be disciplined. So this Pancharatrika Vidhi takes care of that part, and Bhagavad Dharma, whenever we just utter the holy names of the Lord immediately comes in our heart. We can just connect with the Lord in an unlimited manner through his katha. Yes? So that's why these two paths are like two rail lines in which the vehicle of the sadhaka can run in a very, very smooth manner, in a very, very fast manner. And that's why when Srila Prabhupada has recommended both the ways. And like I was hearing one wonderful class that how the deity form of the Lord is once compared just like the glass of water which you can easily drink. Yes. So one of the acharyas he says that the Lord who is there in Vaikuntha, the Lord who is there in the Sheet Sagar, he is like a cloud. So cloud also has a water, but it is inaccessible. It's too far away from us. And the Paramatma within the heart is just like the underground water. Yes? Do you think it's so easy to take out the underground water and drink it? It is also so below. So Paramatma is so much within the heart. Because our soul is covered with so many layers of ignorance, subtle body, gross body. The 24 elements has covered our soul. And that's why it's very difficult to hear the voice, to reciprocate with the Paramatma within the heart. And the Lord of the Vaikuntha, the Lord of the Sheet Sagar is so far away from us. It's very difficult to communicate with that Lord. But the deity form of the Lord, it is just like the glass of the water. That can quench the thirst. Yeah? And that's why we find sometimes that though there may be a lot of clouds on the sky, but unless it rains, those clouds are of no use to a thirsty person or even the groundwater. But what quenches the heart is the thirst, is the glass of the water. And one of the acharyas he explains that glass of the water is compared to the deity form of the Lord. That the same Lord of Vaikuntha, the same Paramatma in the heart, comes in the very merciful form of a deity, which is made up of the items which we can see, which we can relate with, that particular form. It doesn't need a very, very special qualification or a very much transcendental eyes. He comes in he is made up of stone, metal, wood, which we all can easily access, can carve the deities, which we can see, which we can serve. Yes, so deities are a medium to reciprocate service of ours with the Lord. And since Kartik month is going on, so I just thought that maybe we can speak some of the Leela of the deities right from the pastimes of Lord. So we know that in Udupi, so we have a beautiful deity of Lord Sri Krishna, and Udupi Krishna, how he came. So our acharyas they speak the pastime that how Mother Devaki, she was once feeling very much lamentation that okay, Krishna came back, Krishna killed Kamsa, that's very nice, and now Krishna is with us. But somehow that beautiful moments of a little child being very naughty, drinking milk from the breast of the mother, all that I have missed. All that fortune only belongs to Yashoda and Nanda. What about me? Will I never be able to taste that Vasalya Rasa of baby Krishna? And then Krishna immediately, so Krishna is always ready to fulfill the desire of his devotee. So it is said that in the one of the Upanishad, Natasya Karnam Karnam Tapityate, that Krishna doesn't have any he doesn't have any cause, that he doesn't have any work, any material work. So what work he has? The only work which Krishna has to fulfill the desire of his devotee, to reciprocate love with his devotee. And that's why Krishna immediately transformed into that wonderful Bal Gopal, just like in Vrindavan. And he started jumping here and there. He started breaking the pots of the makhan. He started stealing the makhan. He just jumped on the lap of Devki Maiya. He started drinking milk from the breast of Devki Maiya. And Mother Devki was fully satisfied. All her hunger for love, for Vatsalya love, was getting fully quenched by Krishna. And she was really enjoying that Bal Gopal form of the Lord by seeing one little Krishna. But that Leela was also being seen by Rukmini, Mother Rukmini in the background. And when she saw, so though Krishna again came back to his original form, but Rukmini Maya also developed an intense desire, because Rukmini Maya was already serving Krishna in as wife, yes? But a devotee always want to expand his devotional service. A devotee always want to love Krishna in more varieties of way. He always want to scale up his service to Krishna, and that's why Rukmini Maya, she requested Krishna that Krishna, that form is really out of the world. That form is unimaginable. I really want again see that form, and that's why Krishna, he gifted Rukmini Maya, that beautiful deity of Bal Gopal, in which Krishna is holding rope in one hand and he is holding a stick in other hand, and that deity was worshipped by Rukmini Maya for so many long years, and we know that as soon as the Dwarka, the Lord completed his pastime, and entire Dwarka, it started collapsing, and then those deities were buried into the Gopi Chandan. And we know the beautiful pastime when the great devotee of the Lord, in his third incarnation, after Hanuman and Bhima, that same Vayudev, when he came in the form of Madhvacharya, who is also one of the founder of the Madhva Sampradaya. So when he came and he was just sitting on the banks of the ocean, and that time Madhvacharya, he was getting an intense desire to sing a song which has the meaning of feeling separation from Krishna and a desire to meet Krishna. So those songs were coming in the mind of Madhvacharya. That, oh, when will I meet my Krishna? Why I'm feeling so much of separation from Krishna. So that was the indication that Krishna is going to soon meet him. And we know that pastime, that how one sailor, who was bringing so many goods from Dwarka to sell on the coastal areas, yes, and he was putting the loads of Gopi Chandan to balance his ship. And of course, he didn't know that Gopi Chandan has the deity of Krishna. It was just a big lump of Gopi Chandan. He put it on the ship and he was bringing, and his ship started shaking because of a storm, the heavy storm, and it was seeming as if the whole ship will drown, and the whole goods will go for hell. And thus he saw one very effulgent monk, Madhvacharya, sitting on the bank and in full trance, in meditation, and he started for seeking help. He was crying for help, and Madhvacharya, having pity, as his compassionate heart, he just, with the wave of his hand, with the wave of his cloth, he just changed the entire dynamics of the wind, and the storm, it just calmed down. And how the sailor, when he came, he understood that my life, his entire goods, which is currently existing, is the gift of this monk, is the mercy of this monk, and he wanted to give his entire goods, his entire wealth to Madhvacharya. But Madhvacharya, being a very, very staunch renunciate, had no no desire for all of them. But of course, he took the Gopi Chandan, because the Gopi Chandan of Dwarka was very famous. And as soon as the Gopi Chandan broke, the beautiful form of Udupi Krishna, it came. And how nobody was able to lift that deity, and because that deity had come especially to seek the love of Madhvacharya. That deity was yearning that only that let Madhvacharya personally carry me and serve me. And as soon as Madhvacharya wanted to lift the deity immediately came in the hand of Madhvacharya. And how Madhvacharya, while he was taking the deity to Udupi, it is like some kilometers, that main matha. So in between, he completed that stotra, which is I think 12 stanzas stotra, which he started composing in the beginning of feeling separation from Krishna and wanting to meet Krishna. While on the way, he completed that stotra, and he just bathed the deity, one of the kund there, and he established the deity. And such an elaborate deity worship was established by Srila Madhvacharya that he established 8 mathas around to serve the Udupi Krishna with such a high standard of deity worship. And those stotras which Madhvacharya composed are still sung every day by the devotees to serve the deities. So we see that how in every sampradaya, like whenever the Lord want to reciprocate love with the devotee in this material world, he appears in the form of the deity form, because that is the most direct way in which we can render service in this mortal world. In this mortal world of limitation of our senses, limitation of our own body, the Lord scale down. The Lord simplifies himself in the form of a deity made of stone and wood, just to reciprocate love with us. And that's why in the whole South India, we see in the Kanchipuram or in Srirangam, or we go in Melkote, the beautiful deities, and these deities are actually being, most of these deities were worshipped by Lord Brahma. So who is Lord Brahma? Lord Brahma is the first living entity in this universe, who is born directly from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And in the beginning of the creation, he got darshan of the Lord. And whenever there is a calamity in this universe, he just goes to the Shir Sagar, he gets the darshan of the Lord. But the same Brahma, he wanted to worship the Lord. He wanted to render personal service to the Lord. He did tapasya, and a beautiful deity of Bharadraj Swami came out. And those deities are there in Kanchipuram. Similarly, we have the deities of Srirangam, this Ranganath Swami. The Ranganath Swami also came to Lord Brahma as a gift, whom Lord Brahma personally worshipped. And finally, we know the pastime, how he gifted it to the Surya Vansis, and gradually it came to Srirangam. Similarly, the pastimes in Melkote, we know that how the Lord was worshipped by Lord Brahma. So we see that all our acharyas, beginning from Lord Brahma, as we are coming in a Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, beginning from Lord Brahma, beginning from Madhvacharya, and we know the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had Govardhan Shila, so he was not able to worship Govardhan Shila, because as soon as he will see the Govardhan Shila, immediately the tears will start flowing from his eyes. His clothes are always wet, and we know that in a wet condition you cannot serve the deities properly. So the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Raghunath Das Goswami that I am giving this Govardhan Shila to you to worship, because I am unable to worship this deity, because so much of tears come out from my eyes, yes, and just wet my body, wet my clothes, and I'm not able to serve. So we see that that since time immemorial, deity worship has been an integral part, an inseparable part of our entire sampradaya. And we see that even while establishing ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada has installed such a beautiful deities in every temple. Each deity is so unique. Each deity has Prabhupada, he made in a different mood, he gave different names, and each deity has so much of uniqueness, and he established uh, the very high standards of deity worship, such a cleanliness in the temple. So our temples are very much known for punctuality and cleanliness. So that is also a wonderful gift of Srila Prabhupada, and that's why we say we even sing in the Mangal Aarti that Shri Vigrahara Dhan Nityanana Shringara Tan Mandira Marjano Yuktasta Bhaktan Charyun Jatopi Vande Guru Shri Charanarvitam. That how Shri Guru, he himself engages in deity worship, and he engages his disciples also in the deity worship, because he knows that because Sri Guru knows that this is the ultimate benefit for my disciples. And now we are coming to the last part of our discussion, and that discussion is the another aspect of the purport. In today's purport, we also saw that in the translation, Srila Prabhupada writes that while we worship the deity, we also need to see the same Lord in all other living entities. Yes, we need to see the same Lord everywhere in the universe. And that's why our acharyas have said that if one worships the deity but fails to see Krishna in other living entities, fails to see Krishna through his devotees, so then he is a Kanishta Adhikari. Yes, he is an elevated person, because out of so many Manushya Nam Sahasreshu Kaschid Yati Siddhai, out of so many millions and millions of living entities, one person has developed some faith in Krishna and he starts serving Krishna. Of course, he is a very great person, because he has developed faith in Krishna. He starts worshipping the deity. He sees Krishna in the deity form. That's a very high platform. But still, our Acharya says that he is a Kanishta, even if he doesn't see Krishna through his devotees in other living entities. So that's the another aspect of today's translation and purport. Yes, that while we worship the deity, while we chant the holy names, it's also important to see Krishna everywhere. And that's why we have a wonderful pastime where once Srila Prabhupada once went to one of the Brahmana's house, and they knocked the door, and the servant came out, and the servant told Srila Prabhupada and all his disciples to just wait for some time. And disciples, they were not able to understand that such a big acharya has come, and this Brahmana is asking to wait outside. What he is doing? And then the servant told that, oh, he is doing deity worship. And without finishing the deity worship, he doesn't talk to anybody, and no matter who has come. Immediately, Srila Prabhupada told to his disciple, he is a Kanishta. He is a Kanishta. Because the rules of the deity worship says that if you are worshipping the deity, and as soon as a pure devotee comes, immediately one should leave the whatever paraphernalia one is offering. In between, one should drop it down. First, go and receive that pure devotee, because Krishna, more than himself, more than his own deities, Krishna value one pure devotee. The value of a pure devotee is much higher than just worshipping the deity. So one should just drop it and just receive the pure devotee. Then one can continue the deity worship again. And that's why it is said that if one worships the deity very nicely in the morning, and then one goes out and he offends other devotees, he offends other living entities. He feels himself very proud. So it is just like worshipping Krishna very nicely in the morning, and then beating the head of Krishna with a stick. So this example is also given by our Acharya. So it is said that who is a Madhyam Adhikari? So the qualification of a Madhyam Adhikari is that yes, he considered Krishna as his life and soul. Yes, Krishna is the ultimate truth. Krishna is the ultimate goal. But also he has a very wonderful friendship with other devotees. He has compassion for the other living entities, and he neglects the envious people. These are the four qualifications of the Madhyam Adhikari. So while we worship the deities, and that's why all the three things like Nama Ruchi, Vaishno Seva and Jiva Daya, all three go hand in hand. These three are the complete package in order to rise from the Kanishta to Madhyama and gradually from Madhyama to Uttam Adhikari. So while we worship our deity, while we worship Krishna in our home, it is also important to associate with other devotees, to serve other devotees, because uh, because we have neglected Krishna for so far. We have so many anarthas. Even though we worship the deity and everything, it may take a long time for us, to develop love for Krishna. But when we serve other Vaishnavas, when we serve pure devotees, because they have Krishna in their heart, they have Krishna. So if they have Krishna and they get pleased with us, so and that's why in Bhagavatam it is said, Syam Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nisevana. So the Lord, so the pure devotee is just like a walking tirtha, and that's why when Vidurji, he after roaming around all the tirtha, among taking darshan of different deities, when Vidurji came back to Hastinapur, and when Pandavas received, the Pandavas, they addressed Vidurji that Vidurji, you are Tirth personified, you are holy place personified, you are so whatever deities darshan you have taken, that darshan is there in the heart of a pure devotee. So of course we can also go and take the darshan, but when we serve a pure devotee, that's how we get love for those deities. Otherwise, we can see the deity as because of our limited senses, we may not understand the transcendental nature of the deity. So that's the third part of our discussion. That while we serve the deities, it is also important we see those deities in the heart of a pure devotee, and of course in the heart of every living entity. We see those deities, and that's the matured stage of being a Vaishnava. So being a Vaishnava is a very deep concept. It's not something very superficial. It's a very deep concept, and we need to properly understand uh, the, the principles of Vaishnavism. So as we are approaching the closing time, so I will just recapitulate, just summarize what we have discussed today. So we started that how the dvandva, whether to work in this world or not to work on in this world, and we see that how varnashram system is a stable platform in which one can rest his senses and engage his senses in Krishna's service. Otherwise, our senses, which are imbued with the poison of sense gratification, at any time can bite us if we are not properly situated in our swadharma. Yes, that's why it is also very important. And we also saw that how Krishna gives us the wholesome plan of spiritual life, in which we can gradually purify our senses, but at the same time engage the senses in Krishna's service. And then we saw the importance of deity worship in our, and we see that Pancharatrika Vidhi and Bhagavad Dharma, they go parallel together. And we saw the importance of deity worship in our own sampradaya. We took the examples of many acharyas right from our sampradaya, that how each of them, although fully lost in Bhagavad Dharma, fully lost in holy names of Krishna, but they never forgot to keep the deities, because deities, they are the medium of a pure devotee to reciprocate love with him, in order to express his love, and even for Krishna to accept the. And that's why Krishna sometimes pushes this devotee. Krishna sometimes just pushes this devotee to take a deity form and just serve him, because Krishna is also hungry for the love of his devotee. And we see that each of the acharyas had a deity. We saw from other sampradaya also, that how in other sampradaya also they have each of the sampradaya has a very special position of the deity worship. We saw from Chaitanya Charitamrita that deity worship is one of the 5 most powerful and most potent limbs of devotional service. We saw how Srila Prabhupada has so much given the importance of deity worship in our whole life. And then in the last part of our discussion, we saw that how the deity worship, it has to, in its full maturity, deity worship means to see the same deity in every living entity. and especially to see the same deity in a pure devotee, because deity in its full mercy actually exists in the heart of a pure devotee. We may externally worship deity, but to actually get the love for the deity, that love can only be given by a pure devotee, because bhakti sanjayate bhakti. Krishna never gives love himself directly to anybody. He only gives it through the heart of the uh, pure devotees. So with this, as we have crossed the time, so we end today's session. Hare Krishna. So we'll end, Prabhu.